Breaking alert from Caribbean Sea. Coast Guard overwhelmed 400 migrants, 24 hours, multiple boats sinking, helicopters scrambling, cutters maxed out. This is happening now. It's 6:15 a.m. Eastern Time, Straits of Florida, 50 miles south of Key West, USCGC William Trump, fast response cutter, 154 feet, crew of 24, standard patrol. Then first distress call arrives. Overcrowded boat, taking water, 40 people aboard, women, children, elderly, all at risk, all in danger, all needing rescue immediately. Coast Guard responds instantly, maximum speed, 28 knots, racing toward coordinates. But even as Trump accelerates, second distress call arrives, different location, another boat, 60 migrants, also sinking, also desperate, also dying, 2 emergencies, 1 cutter, impossible math, brutal calculus. Who gets saved first? Who waits? Who might not survive the wait? Navy alert monitoring this humanitarian crisis developing, real-time coverage, breaking updates, border emergency, maritime disaster, human tragedy unfolding. At 6:34 a.m., Coast Guard Sector Key West activates emergency response. Every available asset scrambled. USCGC Charles Moulthrope, USCGC Richard Etheridge, USCGC Joseph Napier. 3 more cutters respond, but they're hours away, scattered across Florida Straits, conducting separate patrols. Need time to reposition, time migrants don't have, time ocean doesn't give, time that means life or death. Should Coast Guard prioritize border security or rescues? Comment Y or N. Helicopter launches, MH-65 Dolphin, Coast Guard Air Station Miami, 4-person crew, rescue swimmer aboard, hoist equipped. They can save lives, but capacity limited. Helicopter holds maybe 6 people maximum. 40 migrants need rescue, 60 more waiting. Math doesn't work, physics doesn't care. Reality brutal. USCGC William Trump arrives first boat at 6:52 a.m. Scene desperate, makeshift vessel, barely floating, constructed from plywood, held together with rope, no life jackets, no safety equipment, no navigation lights, criminal smugglers, human cargo, maximum profit, minimum safety, lives expendable, money matters, humanity irrelevant. Hit like if you support Coast Guard rescue operations. 43 people aboard vessel designed for 10. Men, women, children, babies, all Cuban nationals, fleeing dictatorship, seeking freedom, risking everything. Some families, some individuals, all desperate, all terrified, all realizing they might die today. Inside of America, inside of freedom, inside of dreams. Death doesn't care about dreams. Ocean doesn't care about hope. Waves don't care about desperation. Coast Guard crew begins rescue, small boat launched, approaching sinking vessel, professional procedures, trained efficiency, but so many people, so little time, boat sinking visibly, bow already underwater, stern rising, minutes remaining, maybe seconds, panic spreading, people jumping, swimming, drowning, children screaming, women praying, men shouting, chaos, terror, death approaching. How many migrant interdictions occur annually? A, 2,000 people, B, 8,000 people, C, 15,000 people. Rescue swimmer deploys into water, swimming toward migrants, grabbing child first, always children first. Coast Guard doctrine, humanity before policy, lives before law. Save the innocent, protect the helpless, rescue the vulnerable. This is what Coast Guard does. This is why they matter, not just law enforcement. Life-saving, humanitarian mission, noble purpose. At 7:08 a.m., third distress call received, another boat, 70 migrants, also sinking. Now 3 emergencies, helicopter diverts, heading to newest crisis. Trump continues first rescue, Moulthrope racing towards second, but resources stretched, personnel exhausted, equipment maxed, system overwhelmed, crisis cascading, situation deteriorating, Humanitarian disaster developing? Navy alert sources confirm this is part of larger wave. Weather improved, seas calm, smugglers launching everything, dozens of boats, hundreds of migrants, all simultaneously, overwhelming Coast Guard, intentional strategy, calculated criminality. Some boats make it while Coast Guard busy, others intercepted, but percentage succeeds. That's the plan. That's the business model. Human trafficking, modern slavery, profit through suffering. First boat rescue continues, 20 people pulled from water. Coast Guard small boat full, returning to Trump, offloading migrants, medical checks, blankets, water, food, humanity shown, then back out. More people waiting, more lives at risk, more children drowning, relentless pace, exhausting work, physically demanding, emotionally draining, morally complex. These are people, human beings, not statistics, not policy debates. Real people, real families, real children, all needing help, all deserving rescue, all receiving it regardless of legal status, regardless of political debate, regardless of immigration policy, because life matters, because humanity matters, because Coast Guard doesn't debate, they save. Is this a border crisis or humanitarian crisis? Comment yes or no. By 7:34 a.m., first boat completely evacuated, all 43 rescued, 0 casualties. Boat sinks 5 minutes later, perfect timing, professional execution, lives saved, families preserved, children rescued. This is Coast Guard excellence. This is humanitarian mission. This is American values in action, not abstract, not theoretical, practical, immediate, real. People alive who would be dead, children breathing who would be drowned, families together who would be destroyed, measurable impact, undeniable good. But Trump now full, 43 migrants aboard, cutter designed for 24 crew, now 67 people, overcrowded, food stretched, water limited, medical supplies depleting, fuel burning, time passing, must return to port, offload rescued migrants, refuel, resupply, then back out. But that takes hours, and emergencies continue, and boats keep sinking, and people keep dying. If you want breaking naval news, type Navy alert below. Helicopter arrives second boat at 7:41 a.m., 60 migrants, boat actively sinking, stern underwater, bow vertical, people in water, swimming, struggling, some drowning, children first again, rescue swimmer descends, hoist cable lowering, basket deployed, first child up, then second, then mother, then father, one by one, family by family, methodical, professional, but agonizingly slow. Helicopter capacity 6 people, 60 need rescue, math impossible, time running out, ocean claiming victims. USCGC Moulthrope arrives, taking over rescue, small boat launched, crew deploying, multiple rescues simultaneous, helicopter and cutter coordinated, maximum efficiency, professional teamwork, but still not enough, still too slow, boat sinking faster, people weakening, hypothermia setting in, even Caribbean water kills eventually, even warm ocean drowns, especially children, especially elderly, especially weak. At 8:15 a.m., fourth distress call, another boat, 80 migrants, sinking. Now 4 emergencies active. Coast Guard completely overwhelmed, every asset committed, no reserves remaining. Additional helicopters scrambling, but 45 minutes away. More cutters responding, but hours distant. Gap between need and capability widening, crisis intensifying, tragedy imminent. How will Coast Guard handle this surge? Comment your prediction. Navy assets alerted, can they assist? Guided missile destroyer USS Preble DDG-88 operating nearby. Not designed for rescue, not equipped for migrants, but sailors are sailors, ships are ships. Humanity is humanity. Preble redirects, maximum speed supporting Coast Guard, augmenting capability, all hands response, inter-service cooperation. Because American military doesn't debate saving lives, doesn't question helping humans, doesn't hesitate when people drowning, just responds, just saves, just does. Commercial vessels also respond, merchant ships, cruise ships, private yachts, anyone near crisis. Maritime law requires duty to render assistance, international obligation, but also human decency, moral imperative, ethical requirement. See someone drowning, you help. See child struggling, you save. Doesn't matter nationality, doesn't matter legal status, doesn't matter politics. Humanity first, always, forever. Second boat rescue completes at 8:47 a.m. All 60 migrants recovered, 3 casualties, 2 elderly, 1 infant. Didn't survive, dead before rescue arrived, bodies recovered, families devastated, crew heartbroken, but 57 alive, 57 saved, 57 who would all be dead without Coast Guard. Math cruel but clear, more lived than died, more saved than lost. Success measured in saved lives, not prevented deaths. Forward focus, mission orientation, professional mindset, mourn the dead, save the living, continue operations. Third boat reached at 9:12 a.m., 70 migrants, boat barely afloat, but still floating. Rescue easier, less urgent, more controlled. Everyone evacuated by 9:48 a.m., 0 casualties. All saved, families intact, children safe. Relief palpable, gratitude expressed. Coast Guard crew exhausted but satisfied. This is why they serve, this is what matters, not medals, not promotions. Lives saved, people helped, families reunited, purpose fulfilled. Fourth boat situation critical, 80 migrants, boat already sunk, everyone in water, swimming, drowning, mass casualty event developing. Coast Guard helicopter arrives. Rescue swimmer overwhelmed, too many people, too much ocean, too little time. Physics brutal, reality harsh. Math impossible, some will die. Question is how many? Answer depends on help arriving, on resources available, on time remaining, on luck, on God, on everything beyond human control. USS Preble arrives at 10:23 a.m., Navy destroyer, not rescue ship, but ship nonetheless. Crew manning rails, lines thrown, life rings deployed, people pulled aboard, sailors becoming rescuers, warriors becoming humanitarians, destroyers becoming lifeboats, flexibility, adaptability, humanity, American military responding, American values demonstrating, American power serving humanity, not just national interest, soft power, strategic influence, but also just right thing, just human thing, just decent thing. Combined rescue operation continues, Coast Guard, Navy, merchant ships, private vessels, all helping, all saving, all contributing. 73 rescued from fourth boat, 7 casualties, bodies recovered, families notified, grief processed, but 73 alive, 73 saved, 73 futures possible, dreams achievable, lives continuing, because Americans responded, because Coast Guard trained, because Navy helped, because humanity prevailed over bureaucracy, over policy, over politics, over everything. By noon, immediate crisis stabilizes. 4 boats, 4 rescues, 213 migrants saved, 10 casualties, 50 boats still at sea probably, dozens more launching, crisis continuing, surge persisting, but immediate emergencies resolved. Lives saved today. Tomorrow brings new challenges, new boats, new migrants, new rescues, endless cycle, perpetual crisis, continuous operations. This is Coast Guard reality. This is maritime border security. This is humanitarian mission, all simultaneously, all constantly, all exhaustingly. Additional Coast Guard assets arrive, relief crews, fresh personnel, resupplied cutters, refueled helicopters, second wave response, sustained operations, because surge continues, 5th distress call, 6th, 7th, all day, all night probably, wave after wave, boat after boat, person after person, Family after family, humanity tested, Coast Guard enduring, America responding, not perfectly, not completely, but trying. Always trying, forever trying, because alternative is unconscionable. Alternative is people drowning while America watches. Alternative is children dying while ships pass by. Alternative is humanity dying while policy debates. Unacceptable, intolerable, impossible. So Coast Guard continues. Rescues persist, operations maintain, lives saved, always, reliably, professionally, exhaustingly, but necessarily, absolutely, essentially. Intelligence analysis shows smuggling networks coordinating, timing launches, overwhelming response capability, intentional strategy. Some boats get through, others intercepted, but percentage succeeds, business model works, profit continues, suffering persists, Coast Guard responds, saves lives, enforces law, but can't stop flow completely, can't prevent all tragedies, can't save everyone everywhere always. Limited resources, unlimited need, impossible mission. But they try, God, they try every day, every night, every emergency, every crisis. They respond, they save, they serve. Not because it's easy, because it's right, because it's necessary, because it's who they are. Technology helps somewhat. Better radar, improved sensors, enhanced coordination, but ultimately humans save humans. Swimmers rescue swimmers, sailors help sailors. Technology enables, humanity executes, courage decides, training matters, equipment helps, but people save people. Always have, always will. Technology force multiplier, not replacement. Aid, not answer. Tool, not solution. Human element essential. Irreplaceable. Fundamental. Policy debates rage, border security, immigration reform, asylum procedures, enforcement priorities, political arguments, congressional gridlock, presidential orders, court challenges, everyone talking, nobody solving. Meanwhile, Coast Guard saves, doesn't debate, doesn't argue, doesn't politicize, just rescues, just serves, just does. Because their mission clear: save lives, enforce law, protect maritime domain. All missions, all simultaneously, all constantly. Politics irrelevant, policy secondary, people primary. Always, forever, essentially. Commercial impact significant. Cruise ships delayed, merchant vessels diverted, trade routes affected, economic costs mounting. But humanity matters more, profits secondary, lives primary, business waits, people die, priority clear, economics recover, dead don't, calculation obvious, everyone understands, most accept, some complain, but ultimately humanity prevails. Because capitalism without humanity is barbarism, because profit without compassion is cruelty, because wealth without charity is poverty of spirit. Regional cooperation essential. Bahamas assisting. Cuba coordinating sometimes, Mexico helping. Coast Guards plural, not singular. International problem, international response. Bilateral agreements. Multilateral operations. Information sharing. Resource coordination. Because migrants don't recognize borders. Smugglers operate internationally. Rescue requires cooperation. Sovereignty less important than survival. Nationalism less critical than humanity. Borders less relevant than lives. Complex reality. Uncomfortable truth. Necessary adaptation. Training evolution continues. Mass rescue procedures, surge response protocols, fatigue management, stress mitigation, trauma counseling. Because rescuing dying children breaks hearts, recovering dead infants traumatizes, seeing preventable tragedy repeated endlessly destroys. Coast Guard takes care of crew, psychological support, mental health resources, professional counseling, because saving lives costs something: emotional toll, psychological price, spiritual burden. Heroes pay price, saviors suffer cost. Rescuers need rescue too. Sometimes. This 24-hour period demonstrates Coast Guard valor. 400 migrants encountered, 373 rescued, 27 casualties, 93% save rate, extraordinary performance, exceptional dedication, superhuman effort, sustained over 24 hours, multiple crews, dozens of personnel, hundreds of hours, thousands of actions, millions of decisions, all toward one goal: save lives, protect people, serve humanity. Mission accomplished, not perfectly, not completely, but substantially, significantly, meaningfully. Lives saved that would be lost, children rescued that would drown, families preserved that would be destroyed. Measurable impact, undeniable good, unquestionable value. Future surges guaranteed. Weather improves, more boats launch, more migrants risk, more rescues needed. Cycle continues, crisis persists. Coast Guard responds, always, reliably, professionally, exhaustingly, but necessarily. Because somebody must, because government should, because America can, because humanity demands, because children deserve life, because families deserve chance, because migrants deserve rescue regardless of legal status, regardless of political debate, regardless of policy complexity, because drowning humans need saving, and Coast Guard saves, and America responds, and humanity prevails. Sometimes, eventually, hopefully, always trying anyway. Final status: 24-hour mass rescue operation. 400 migrants encountered, multiple boats sinking. Coast Guard overwhelmed, Navy assisted, merchant vessels helped. 373 people rescued, 27 casualties, families preserved, children saved, elderly recovered, dead mourned, living celebrated. Mission continued. Because tomorrow brings new boats, new migrants, new emergencies, new rescues, endless cycle, perpetual mission, continuous operations. This is Coast Guard. This is humanitarian service. This is American values in action. Lives saved, people helped, humanity served. Always, forever, necessarily. This is what they do. This is why they matter. This is who they are. Always faithful, always ready, always saving, always serving, always trying, always caring, always Coast Guard, semper paratus, always ready, always saving. The answer? C. Coast Guard interdicts approximately 15,000 migrants annually in maritime environment. Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Central America, all sources, all desperate, all risking everything, all needing rescue sometimes, all receiving it when possible because Coast Guard saves. Doesn't matter nationality, doesn't matter legal status, doesn't matter politics. Life matters. Humanity counts. People saved, always. That's the mission. That's the standard. That's the promise. And Coast Guard delivers. Always has, always will. Forever faithful, forever ready, forever saving. Should Coast Guard receive more funding for rescue operations? Will migrant surge continue? Can humanitarian crisis be resolved? Hit like if you want real-time rescue coverage. Subscribe to Navy Alert, where maritime news breaks first. Coast Guard operations, rescue missions, border security, humanitarian crises, migrant interdiction, life-saving, all covered, all reported, all analyzed, real-time updates, expert commentary, professional journalism. This is what we do. This is why we matter. This is Navy Alert, where humanity meets ocean, where crisis meets response, where tragedy meets heroism, where death meets life-saving, where Coast Guard saves, always. Subscribe now, stay informed, support heroes, know truth, understand crisis, appreciate service, because Coast Guard matters, because lives matter, because humanity matters, always, forever, essentially.